Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. 106. We hit 106 tonight, guys. Is this just the beginning? Have we tapped out? Are we downhill from here, or is sky the limit for Bitcoin and the alts? Today I want to talk about three alts specifically. I want to talk about Ethereum, then I'm going to talk about Chainlink, and I'm also going to talk about ZEUS. ZEUS is part of the Solana ecosystem, and they just had a big breakthrough this week, and why I think it's an alt that everyone should be paying attention to. Crazy gains ahead for this one if everything pans out. So let's talk about what's happening. Let's talk about what happened this week with Bitcoin and the alts. And guys, if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to the channel. So a lot of good things to talk about. Just the beginning of the week. We haven't really hit Monday yet here in the US. And I'm excited, and I hope you are excited too. So let's take a look at the heat map here. And we see the Bitcoin has ticked down a little bit since the 106 high. Still 105, and I'm not mad at that. ETH's at 4,000. We'll talk a little bit about ETH. XRP, we'll talk about a little bit about XRP as well. $2.44. Solana, just a lot of green everywhere, right? And things are looking pretty nice right now. So fear and greed is still extreme greed. Still stayed pretty consistent with that throughout the whole week. 78, 78, 76. So everyone's feeling pretty good. Sentiment's pretty high in the crypto space. But let's take a look at CoinMarketCap. And we see Bitcoin dominance currently stands at 56. So we're still over 50. Once Bitcoin starts hitting below 50%, that's when altcoin season typically happens. And we probably want to shed a little bit of Bitcoin to get into the alts. But right now, Bitcoin is still high. And based on the news that I'm seeing, it may get even higher at 56.1. And crypto market cap's at 3.7 trillion, up 3.2%. So crypto is on right now. It's hot. Bitcoin 105, we talked about. ETH 4,000, XRP 244, Solana 226. Doge, kind of steady at 41 cents. Cardano $1.11. Avalanche over 50 bucks, 51.52. Chainlink we're going to cover almost at 30 bucks, guys. Sui's doing pretty good, up 15% for the past week, $4.85. Hedera's another one I'm keeping an eye on, 29 cents. And just a lot of goodness overall. So let's take a look at Michael Saylor and MSTR. Well, Bitcoin hitting 106, down to 105, still pretty high. We got to believe that the Bitcoin proxy for the stock market here in the US is going to be doing pretty well as well. And we look at this, it looks like as of December 9th, this is per sailortracker.com. You guys can take a look at that. Probably a good bookmark if you hold not XRP, but MicroStrategy, or you plan to own it in the future. You want to take a look at this. But we see for the month of December, he's already made two purchases. When I say he, I mean MicroStrategy. December 2nd, average price was about 95,976. And December 9th, he bought at 98,783. So when I see this, I think about, man, I mean, my average price for Bitcoin getting in was, I was buying at 14,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, even 60,000. This dude and his company still buying at over $90,000. That means the conviction is barred none. Like they know where this thing is headed, and them paying 90,000, 95,000, 98,000, 100,000 means nothing to them because they know where the price of Bitcoin is headed in the future. And that's the mentality us as retail investors should have as well. At least that's what I have. So, every paycheck, putting a little bit away for Bitcoin is something that, is very smart. BlackRock announced this week that to all their people, that you should probably have 2% allotted to Bitcoin. And they have a lot of wealthy people as clients. And they say at least 2% into Bitcoin. Obviously, that helps them because they have the ETF and all, but there's something to think about. But this week, they made a purchase, and the price of MicroStrategy has gone up with the news of Bitcoin hitting this all-time high. Now, we look at last week, ending last week, the amount of money, institutional money, going into the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the stronger, bigger cap altcoins. And we see that last week, 2.5 billion went into Bitcoin as far as institutions, venture capitalists, smart money buying Bitcoin, 2.5 million. Ethereum, 1.1 billion. Then you have Solana, they had an outflow of 14 million. XRP had an inflow of 134 million. And then you have Binance had inflow of 3.3 million, Litecoin 2.1 million. I made a video about Litecoin. I have a decent strategy and a theory on Litecoin. I think it's going to do very well this next year. Cardano had an inflow of 5.2 million. Chainlink had an inflow of only 700,000. And I think that's going to change by the next couple of weeks. Now, let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin, just the big news, and why I think buying at 90,000, 95,000, 100,000 seems like a lot now, desaying into that amount. But 5 years from now, you'll be like, wow, that was cheap. And here are some of the headlines here. Proposed U.S. Bitcoin strategy reserve, and you have Texas coming up with one, or proposing one rather, Florida proposing one, and Pennsylvania. These three states, obviously they're leaning red, but I imagine that all other states, especially states that have budget issues and probably heading into some bankruptcy, they're probably going to look at this. And if U.S. as a nation takes up the Bitcoin strategy, I'm pretty sure others will fall in line. But this is just one thing. Then you have a Japanese political figure proposing a Bitcoin reserve as well. Then you have Putin already talking about that, saying how Bitcoin is a smart investment. It's just a matter, and you know how economies and how states and countries work. Once they see a powerhouse start one thing, the others will soon follow suit. And then it's just a domino effect. And we're so early, but I keep saying so early, but at some point we're not going to be so early anymore. And things are really going to take off. And I think things like this are just positive for Bitcoin, and people are seeing the writing on the wall, and just money is flowing right now. Flowing. Dennis Porter is a good follow on Twitter. If you don't follow him, take a look. For some reason, he has breaking news on Bitcoin before any news outlets or anybody has it. Like, he calls strategic reserves, all these bills by Senator Loomis. He's been calling that before it really hits crypto Twitter. He's a good follow. But he says that, Bitcoin hits all-time high moments after news of a third strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. And like I said, dominoes will fall and other states will happen, and they'll get into it. Senator Loomis has met with future Treasury Secretary to discuss the strategic Bitcoin reserve. She's already proposed a bill. And here in the U.S., President-elect will be here, next month. And basically, the Republican Party has controlled the House and Senate. And he is a strong, persuasive leader. So this is pretty much, as long as they tighten up everything in this bill, in this proposal, it's going to be passed. And when that happens, just if you think things are crazy now, just wait until that happens. In 2025, it should go through. Now, let's look at the crypto sectors as far as what's performing well. And we see currently that centralized exchanges are doing well. Then you have store value, which is the likes of Bitcoin, Litecoin. Then you have staking services and RWA. That is going to be the play. RWA is going to be huge. And I also think AI is going to be huge. But DeFi, based on another article that we're going to talk about here a little later, probably is going to have a surge because one major company owned by President-elect or affiliated with President-elect is in the DeFi projects, and that's going to do well. But memes, surprisingly, for the week are pretty low. And that's okay. We're not in supreme strong altcoin season, so I don't expect that to happen. If there's a meme out there that you think is going to do well, probably now is a good time to accumulate. But right now, the strong sectors are going to be your store value, RWA, oracles, which is your Chainlink and Pyth, DeFi, which is, we'll talk later, is going to look like Aave, and some DeFi plays on Ethereum. But overall, this is what happened in this week as far as the strong sectors in the crypto space. Now, MSTR we talked about, they have entered the NASDAQ 100, QQQ to be exact. Just a perfect storm of things happening for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. Bitcoin is reaching all-time highs, probably going to go higher. It's perfect storm. And because of that, the investors see what's happening as far as the trading volume for this stock alone, and they just been added to that QQQ fund. And it's just another ETF, and people that, probably not too strong about crypto and Bitcoin, but now they probably realize that there's some profit to it. It's just more money and liquidity coming into this stock. And it's a sure win. I own MicroStrategy. I'm so happy I got into it so early. And it's a great Bitcoin play. If you don't want to worry about your keys, securing your keys, sending things to a wallet or anything like that, MicroStrategy is it. And a lot of people that are probably not familiar with all of that, seed phrases, MicroStrategy is where they're headed. And I just think the volume for this stock is going to go bananas. Price of Bitcoin rises, the price of MicroStrategy is going to go higher. And he understands, he is just selling fiat or accruing debt and fiat that's melting and just getting more Bitcoin that's appreciating in time. It's crazy. Now we have Ripple. Ripple had their RLUSD stablecoin, has been approved and process of being out there, and it's just going to increase the demand. Right now, the stars are aligning for XRP as well. You have this stablecoin. You have Gary Gensler and the SEC on their way out. So sky's the limit for XRP and what they plan to do. But this stablecoin is just going to help their ecosystem. I know they want to plan on getting smart contracts as well. Possibly RWA. So they have a lot of ambitious plans for the future. So let's see what's going on with XRP. I know the price has gone up. All the XRP holders that's held for so long, hey, my hat, tip it out to you. Then World Liberty Financial, which is a DeFi project endorsed by President-elect Trump, has 3 major crypto projects. First one is ETH, Chainlink, and Aave. And they own a lot of ETH. And because of that, although I think Solana is still the better L1 project and all metrics show that, ETH's not dead yet, just because they're affiliated with this project. So ETH is going to do well. Chainlink also is going to do well. Number 1 oracle in the space. You can't have DeFi really without Chainlink. And they have their IICP or something like that, where it's interoperability where all chains communicate. Every major chain is affiliated with Chainlink. And they're ISOO or 20022 compliant. So, as far as regulations here in the U.S., it's going to help. They're a U.S.-based company. So all things are positive for Chainlink. I think Chainlink's going to go up higher as well. As far as if you want regulation, crypto regulation, and you want DeFi and crypto, and you want innovation to happen here in the U.S. as far as crypto goes, you can't have that without having Chainlink. So that use case alone makes Chainlink a must-have in any portfolio. And then Aave. Aave is an oldie but goodie DeFi project, and they're into that one as well. So if I were you, I would focus on, if you want to get a little bit of exposure to ETH, but Chainlink for sure is something that keep an eye on. Now, ZEUS Network validates first Bitcoin transaction on Solana. Now, Cardano had some news about a month ago as far as their, validation, their transaction on the Cardano network. But it's a little bit different. It hits a little bit different when you're talking about Solana. Because Solana, if you look at all the metrics, like I mentioned before, as far as volume and everything, all the actions happening on Solana. All the developers are heading to Solana because it's so fast and the fees are cheap as hell. So if there's one knock on Bitcoin is that, the transactions, if you want to send Bitcoin to someone or receiving Bitcoin, it takes some time, right? And the fees aren't as bad as Ethereum, but, they're not as cheap as Solana as well. You combine those two, speed and cheap fees, and you can have a transaction on the fastest network or one of the fastest L1 networks. That's a good thing. Right now, Bitcoin kind of has that with Stacks, but if you have ZEUS network that's on Solana, and right now it's under $1, if they can really get this going on, and this is, it's not happening on the testnet network. They actually had this happen real world, that this altcoin right here, and if the price of Solana just continues to go up in peak altcoin season, has the potential to 20-30x from its current value right now. So pay attention to ZEUS Network. If you don't know anything about it, take a look at it, do your own research, but ZEUS Network is something to pay attention to, especially with the rise and popularity of Solana and Bitcoin. It's a perfect marriage there. And you see the price here is at 80 cents. And if we look at, just quickly, total supply is 1 billion, max supply 1 billion. We look at the market cap, which is what you really want to pay attention to, is 136 million. That's it. So this has the potential to many X. And I like that. It's not listed on Coinbase yet, but we know that Solana altcoins tend to get listed on Coinbase pretty quickly. And I mentioned Coinbase because a lot of people here in the US has access to it. And that's how you get access to, you know, volume and everything like that. And prices tend to go up once listed on Coinbase. So pay attention to ZEUS Network. Now let's look real quick as far as social media and traction and all of that. Right now, it's only 211 followers. So, you know, it's still pretty new. No one's really on it yet. So I sense a video on ZEUS coming very, very soon. And then Crypto Rover posted 275 days after the halving, the price of Bitcoin normally just rises. And this is where we're at right now currently, right? And, you know, if I'm looking at this arrow correctly, we're seeing that, you know, we could see a price of upwards of $300,000 Bitcoin by 2026, you know, or at the end of the next bull cycle. With everything that I'm hearing, things are moving much quicker than anticipated. So maybe we'll see a $300,000 Bitcoin way before the next bull cycle. We shall see. And then lastly, this is plan B. A lot of people gave him crack about his stock to flow model and how it didn't pan out last cycle, but I don't know. I mean, here he said his guidance for 2024 has not changed since October 6, 2022, when Bitcoin was 20K. He said that rise into April 2024 having around 55K, pump after halving will hit 100,000 in 2024. Check mark. Hit stock to flow target 500K average. His range is $250 to $1 million in 2025. These numbers sound ridiculous and crazy. But if I were to tell you in January that we have the likes of all these ETFs buying, these spot ETFs buying, strategic reserves being planned for different states, that we have a pro-Bitcoin government here in the US, you would say that I was off my rocker and I was crazy as hell. But these things are happening. So who's to say 250 to 1 million? I don't know about 1 million, but 250, we're already at 106 right now. 250 possibly can happen in 2025. It's, you know, we're not even there yet. It's full 12 months. A lot can happen. So it's just an exciting time here in the crypto space. And guys, just keep DCAing. If I can't stress anything, just keep DCAing. It's not over yet. Still accumulate these altcoins because I don't think those things have run yet. And I'm still DCAing into Bitcoin. Not as much as altcoins, but I'm still putting some aside for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin is a little bit too rich for you, MicroStrategy is also a good play as well. But it's just the beginning. End of the year, we're going to end off strong, and I'm very excited about it. But I just wanted to make a quick video about 106 Bitcoin. It's a big milestone. We just keep hitting new highs every couple of weeks, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for spending your time with me, and until next time, talk to you later.